roam, by the way, still possible. And then let the Lapu Lapu have that amazing presence in those team fights. But Rebellion answer with an Edith and a Brody, both great all-in options right here, and a strong gold lane. We've talked about this, man. That can be very dangerous for Kabuki.
Counter matchup against the Claude.
Wait a minute though. Who's gonna be on the mid lane? Because Tritzla mid lane is also a thing, and I believe Suelo has played it, and he did actually quite well with it.
I think, yeah, you know what? That's a good question. I don't know if it's going to be Edith Florian in the mid, or if it's going to be Terizla. Terizla makes more sense because you get more pressure out of it in the mid lane through clearing. And it is Terizla mid. We're seeing Suelo back on a very strange pick, but we have seen this before from Mr. Sway, who's low.
Meanwhile though, for Aura, Croc on the roaming area, so it's gonna be Heskiel on that Angela. Now, I'm not really a fan or huge fan of this pick, considering that there's not much magic damage is gonna be poured from Aura. And the fact that they're using Claude and I believe Lapu Lapu as their main damage dealer, I don't think it's gonna be enough against this healing composition, Arashi.
I think it depends on how they execute the fights. And as always, we talked about this earlier, there's still the chance for them to go with the macro play and with the back and forth, right? If you look at the healing, of course, there's a lot of healing available for Rebellion, but when they're going in and out, when it's not a full all-in, that Angela is going to be a lot more beneficial in dispensing that healing more reliably without the requirement of having a target to use your spells on to heal your teammates.
Let's see though, the Bulls and the Dragons knew the stakes. Who's gonna go to the playoffs? Who's gonna secure their spot earlier or solidify the position in this match? It is Rebellion versus Aura.
Welcome.
Both teams still not safe, not just yet. And that's why Rebellion are pulling all the stops to send over even their weirdest of strategies into Lanadon in the 7th week of MPL ID regular season, Season 13.
And look at the mid lane domination coming in from Sway Low here. The fact that you're a fighter with good sustain and clear, he is more threatening to the Heskill. Look at the emblems of both teams. Going with the so he's going to be doing a bit more damage in those short engagements without going all in. It really does seem like that's Aura's main plan. But Cars on the Edith, something we haven't seen in a long time. We'll have to see how it really matches up against Aran's Lapu Lapu.
Emblem though by Games Max Arashi, Moai with the Master Assassin. Quite interesting here. He wants to punish the Claude.
He wants to go for as much aggression as possible. With the Quantum Charge, he'll be able to have a lot more power in that gold lane. Also a lot more maneuverability for some outplays as well. Audi going with a focusing mark on the Florian though, he still absolutely has a bit more of an aggressive mindset here instead of being purely a defensive tool. But that will depend on how the team actually plays around him.
There's also the weakness, though, of the Brody. You don't have the Purify to get out, or you don't even have an option to go for Purify. Burns Flicker early on, and the Claude gets so much pressure relieved off of that gold lane.
As active as ever, Gugun in the early game just punishes when they overextend, but debut pick for 2 of Rebellion players here. Three, actually. It's going to be, I believe, Terizla and Brody. Well, this is the first Moai game in Season 13, I believe, too. So, yeah, makes sense. But we are going to see the first battle of the objectives against Gugun and Vincent.
Vincent's slightly ahead here in levels, but not too much to actually make a difference. Where he'll get a level advantage, not just yet. Sway low, penalty zone cancelled as Yaoi jumps into the wild charge onto Vincent. Aran swings his sword, finds first blood, and now Kabuki with a blazing duet to Sway low, looking for some damage and will be able to get it done. Audi TZ forced to flick around, and even Cars now in a 1v3 gets a 2-man Urge Shatter. Gugun very low, but look at that, Aran slices him, and Aura get a big win off the bat. A crazy initiation of Yaoi.
Couldn't have gone any worse for Rebellion in that early game, just losing it all over the place. And Yaoi, you hate to see it, man. This man is very cheeky with the buffs.
The Detour Force on the purple buff right there, delaying Rebellion even more. Overall, just great performance coming in from Aura. The fact that they were able to just find Vincent in that fight, Rebellion need to be a bit more respectful about that, man. Remember, with the Lapu Lapu in the picture, he is a huge damage threat, especially earlier on in the game. And Yaoi, once again, just doing his thing, man. The card control immunity just allows him to be just so impudent with his positioning.
Talent prediction by Samsung Galaxy S24 series. technically, all of us kind of predicted for Aura. I think I know what Miracle is trying to do here. Oh, a tough match for Rebellion.
Well, it's not over for them for sure. They do have stronger laners on paper, especially in the gold lane. They do have ways to really play around it, and maybe the mid lane as well. But right now, the gangs from Gugun are just swinging all these lanes in favor of Aura.
It's all about that pressure that Aura have when it comes down to these little lane advantages that Rebellion have. They haven't been able to utilize it at all, really. Even the Brody, nullified very early, and Kabuki is ahead in gold up against a counter matchup.
Well, it comes at a cost though, because earlier Vincent was slightly ahead in levels compared to Gugun. That's because Gugun has been all across the map, just very actively ganking all of these aggressive laners that ideally should really be exerting more pressure in the lane. As a result, he hasn't been farming as efficiently, so despite the small victories for Aura, Vincent is still keeping up. But overall, I believe Aura is just having a better time because they should be losing in some of these lanes.
Yep, they're having a better time. I think one of the reasons is these debut picks from Rebellion, and also, I believe Grok is the most used hero by Yaoi. Claude and Fredrin is also top 5 in their picks from the stats earlier for Aura, so stick to what you know is their plan. They're looking to capitalize on it on this objective fight.
This way low trying to zone, but that's why the Angela finds so much value early on. Cars, Earth Shatter onward, and also Penny zone to the back, but Iran also follows through the Bravest Fighter onto Vincent, who's still clawing at him. Kabuki here, it's a 5v5, but look at the damage coming through from Aura. They've out-sustained Rebellion, and Cars kiting back, Sway low in the midst of it all, getting Yaoi down. To Rome, traded in for a jungler, still in favor of Aura.
I kind of don't expect Rebellion to get that kill. That looks so good for Aura, but they actually didn't really win on that exchange, only 1-1. Meanwhile, Suelo and Yeskiel though still has the healing from Audi TZ. I don't think he's gonna die just yet. That is a big item. Meanwhile, top lane.
They both here just trading in aggression, but Aura still has the better staying power. As you can see right here, even though it seems kind of equal, the fact that the jungler got picked off there, and the fact that the jungler is more of a marksman than a fighter compared to the Fredrin, right? That means that Aura can just heal up in the jungle for a bit and come back to that neutral objective. So far, they're playing everything the way that they have been, right? Putting a lot of emphasis in those neutral objective fights and then bringing in aggression every moment else, with Kabuki now just still going aggressively, despite the fact that he's in a Claude against Brody lane, and he's actually winning when it comes to EXP.
Well, Yaoi was there again, you know, to get him some pressure relieved, and that's all Kabuki needs to do technically in this lane. As long as he gets his farm, it's all good. Moai pressured to shut this Claude down, but so far has been unable to do so. Gugun, again with a taunt. So much pressure relieved off of these laners from Gugun and Yaoi constantly roaming.
Is also the bad part about the composition from Rebellion. The mid lane, the roamer and also the mid laner can't really gang as effectively as Aura. Meanwhile, they have Fredrin, who has pretty much all the CCs in the world. Yaoi just roaming all over the place. They have a say on when to fight and when to back off, and Rebellion is forced to respond.
Well, if you look at it, technically Suelo can provide good ganks, but he's saving the ultimate for bigger moments, like the big neutral objective fight. But this seems like an adjustment from Rebellion. They want to use it early on here before anything happens.
We're going to go for a siege, but it's a wild charge onto the back of Buki as well with the help of the hard guard. Just dives in through from Y. The Bloom already used up in the boundary. Image will be used up. Advantage for Aura. That's a pick off and a Purify out of the penalty zone. That forces Sway low to be all alone. He's isolated completely. Flicker's out late around the flicker and the stun. Yeskiel picks up the kill, and Kabuki is the one chasing down Onitizi. Jumps back to the battle mirror. Image like it's nothing. It's a free turret, a free 3 kills for Aura.
How beautiful that is from Aura. It's suddenly 4v3 and they are winning with 3 members. And Iran just pretty much just ruins the balance of the fight. It makes it a 4v4 and the Bravest Fighter is there to punish everyone from Rebellion. They're down 4k in this 8th minute.
Aura, man, they're just really flexing that DPS difference. They're making sure that Kabuki has space to basic attack again and again throughout the whole engagement. And you give him enough time without any threat to zone him away. Whoa, look at this pickoff.
A knock-up, a taunt into a wild charge as well, and Gugun just holding the back down all alone. Has the help of the hard guard as well to get up and onward, and the penalty zone onto him. Sway low, gets bursted down before anyone can do anything about it. But Iran will fall as well. Now Vincent looking for the execute, but Kabuki jumps into the battle room image to try to fend off from this damage, and they are successful at doing so. It's a 2-for-1 for Rebellion. They want to try to push the advantage now. A Thunder Belt built up by Vincent, and they're on the Lord.
They are not playing, man. That's why they didn't post earlier. They want to get this win as convincingly as possible. And now with Gugun gone, they want to take this one.
Retry on cooldown. Dangerous spot for Rebellion. Kabuki's on it, but there you go. Vincent waits for the timer, and now Yawi gets punished. Moai picks up the kill. His third one in this game, and Kabuki will be forced back.
Great small victory for Rebellion. They're securing the Lord. That's because Gugun just got a bit too aggressive there to really put some pressure onto Vincent at the purple buff. The reason why Aura has been winning so handily is the fact that it's so difficult to really one-shot, to really just burst down Gugun in those shorter, long duration engagements, especially because he rushed the Oracle, knowing that Yehezkiel will provide him a lot of regeneration on top of his own built-in regeneration. But when he's alone right there, taking damage from 4 members, without any chance to use his skills to get out, that's where Aura can, Rebellion can really shut him down. And that is what allowed them to take this Lord. But what can they do with it? That's the question here. Already getting a lot of structures, but it seems like Aura has stopped it right here.
Not really the bulls that we used to see in real life. If they see red, they're going to be aggressive. But this time around, though, Rebellion just know their composition the best. They know when to pop off, and they know when to hold back. Just punishing Aura all over the place with the overextension from Gugun. And this is what I'm not really a fan of from Aura's composition, man. I've heard Chadera mentioning something along the lines of, if he wants to play Claude, he hates to go against this kind of healer, because there's extra layer that you have to bypass, and that single blazing duet is it's not gonna cut it.
And he's forced to build Wind of Nature, third item, instead of going for that full power spike in the early game for that corrosion side, 3-item power spike. That's why maybe we're not seeing as big of a damage power spike from Aura.
That Wind of Nature will also give him a good amount of lifesteal though, so in those fights, it gives him an extra layer of security, especially considering that there's not a lot of DPS sources on the side of Rebellion. A lot of it is chunk damage that he can kind of heal back from after a short engagement, but he's kind of in a dangerous spot right here. Cars looking for him, but that mobility will get him out. But it seems like Rebellion, they're just looking for a play here, but Yao is the one that can just push them all the way just by popping that conceal.
How do you play this right now? Because right now, even Aran, he's not running because he's playing on Lapu Lapu. This is not the Benedetta or the Bakiro that we used to see. And when you're forced to go on a team fight and just losing, there's no second option.
It's tough. As you were talking to Arashi, Vincent finished off the endless battle. Oh, penalty zone into the bush. They read it out. Aran gets caught, and now will just be bursted down by Moai, who's on a killing spree. Isolated by the barrier. Cars still in the midst of it all. That's on Fraser's trap, but Swaylo is able to flicker out of it just in time. Cars, no immobility. Kabuki just runs at him. Pops the BMI back, and Rebellion get a good trade. 1-0.
Playing with fire, their Cars, that Aura fire, and forced to go with the flicker. And now the gold swing, look at that, 600 or 500 for Rebellion. They're looking to secure this game for themselves. Vincent and Gugun once again on the objectives.
Well, this is more of a mid-game power spike for Rebellion, so they're trying to use it as much as possible. Seems like there's going to be a fight breaking out, though. Sway low, going aggressive.
The zone dodged away from, the Lord reset it. And Gugun wants to go for a fight, dashes forward, taunts Cars, but Swaylo doesn't have that initiation tool, not anymore. He has to wait for that cooldown to be back on. Charge! Yawi strikes! And that's the follow-up from the back as well. Kabuki dealing some damage, Swaylo isolated. Only trading the roamer as Cars is going to be all alone. Pops in Primal Wrath on Kabuki! Jumps into the blazing duet and then Brazers. Wrath gets rid of Moai! In the back, Audi forced to flicker all the way. But now it's Vincent who's chasing them down. The light could pounce, chasing Kabuki. He does 2 damage to Hesky. Stunned up by Audi TZ. And Vincent in the Lycan form is a threat that you cannot ignore.
See what I mean? That looks so good from Yaoi. That was the perfect initiation, knocking up 2 in the air. But it went wrong for Aura. They lose out on the durability battle, and now they secure the Lord without any contest whatsoever. Vincent secures another one against the king of the objectives.
It was looking so good for a while for Aura, but the fact that they used so much time to really burst down Sway Low, not the usual mid laner you would expect, but a fighter. They just lost so much time where Vincent and Moai, like you mentioned, Mirko, Vincent with the Endless Battle already proccing double with the Thunderbolt on that true damage. So when it comes to short engagements like that, Aura will definitely start losing out.
And this is why the mid game is so scary if you have a Florin on your team. Aura have NODs, they have Dominance Ices, but
Don't matter.
it doesn't matter, not at all.
Even Kabuki right now, he's having a perfect game. 5-0-3 hasn't picked up by Rebellion just yet, but it looks like he's completely lost. It's hard to engage at this point.
True. And on top of that, the siege potential of a Brody. They have a very, very complete composition for now, Rebellion. 2.7k gold lead, building up to 3!
Oh!
5-man! Oh no, it's just a 4-man penalty zone, but Sway Low, that could have been a bit too far ahead, man. He isolated himself. Now Sway Low free to be picked up on a run. He jumps it all alone as well. That's a trade 1-for-1, but Vincent's looking for the last hit onto Gugun. The XP traded in for the mid lane, and Rebellion still have ways to deal with this turret. The Sway Low dive was worth it.
That was a 4v5 from Aura, and they have no answer to Rebellion.
That was so confusing.
That's a one-man advantage. And they're still losing out, even though Cars already popped the Primal Wrath earlier, so there's not much damage from Rebellion either. They're only using Vincent as the frontliner and just dealing all the damage with both of that true damage, Rashi.
It's the fact that Moai there had the Wind of Nature, so Oran went for the trade, trying to dive back, zone away, and maybe trade for one of the members of Rebellion to save the turrets, but then he just failed because of the Wind of Nature. Now Gugun though, getting chased down. He's still going in. What?
This is risky, Gugun. There's so much damage, true damage at that too, so the Dreadnought armor that he's built up, you can see him just get shredded down by this true damage build of Vincent.
I have a question, Arashi. At this point, we've seen the man advantage, we've seen a lot of mistakes. I mean, oh! Meanwhile though,
Another wild charge as Kabuki tries to deal with Sway Low, but the healing is too much, Vincent! Now diving deep, hard guard force in, Vincent running back. I think he was about to run! With a 3-man, stun in the back with the Bravest Fighter, but now gets taunted again, and this sustain is just ridiculous for Rebellion. They go all in, but it's still a fair trade. It's 1-for-1 on the board.
oh man. And that's another example that I want to talk about with you, Rashi. Everything went, it seems always right for Aura, and they cannot find the right answer. Now, what is the winning condition at this point for Aura? They cannot win on a 5v5. They cannot win on a 4v5. What is the solution here?
I think Aura has two solutions. Play the macro game, which they're trying to do right now with Yeskiel on the Angela, or play a defensive game. They have a DPS advantage when it comes to Claude versus Brody, so if they can just use the audio spells defensively instead, they can maybe have something, but look at Yaoi!
Very, very low, wild charge, stunning Vincent and Cars. Right to the back, Battle Mirror Image. Placed out by Kabuki, Vincent, oh my goodness! Pouncing now again on the Lycan form! That's Yeskiel in the back! Solo taken out by Moai and Auditizi. 4-for-0, only Aran, the last dragon, left to defend against 4 bulls charging down. Aran, with the Bravest Fighter, instantly deleted. An unofficial maniac as the blue bulls charge through the base. 17 minutes. Game 1 to Rebellion.
The horns is too much for Aura. The Breath of Fires doesn't matter against the Blue Bulls. And this might be the start that they're looking for. The competitiveness. They are not playing this time around. They know the stakes.